Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, April 18, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that there's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic, we can see that we have a cold front right there across portions of the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos, Cuba, and the Western Caribbean to the northwest of Jamaica. You can see that we have a trough right there to the north of Puerto Rico, and for the most part the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by that high pressure ridge that's sending some easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we can see all of this on the visible satellite images before the sun went down. You can see those clouds associated with that cold front across portions of the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos, portions of Cuba, as well as the Western Caribbean to the Cayman Islands, as well as down into Honduras, even sections of Jamaica getting in on some of the cloud cover and afternoon thunderstorm associated with that cold front. We can also see some low-level patches of clouds moving from east to west across the main development region into the Caribbean. That's bringing some amount of isolated showers across sections of some of the eastern Caribbean islands. We'll be focusing more on the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made about today's weather, Tuesday's weather, in our previous video. It was stated that we would have received some amount of afternoon rainfall across sections of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. I know that eastern, central, and western Jamaica include those parishes in the counties of Surrey, Middlesex, and the Cornwall. And considering that wind shear would be coming in from the southwest, we'd have more of a bias of that afternoon convection across sections of northern parishes in Jamaica, so Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover. And what ended up happening? A post was made at 2:46 p.m. this afternoon, highlighting some clouds bringing overcast skies across sections of eastern, central, and western parishes, especially northern parishes. So we indeed had that rainfall and cloud cover across inland areas of St. Thomas, inland areas of St. Andrew, inland areas of St. Catherine, inland areas of Clarendon, inland areas of Manchester, portions of St. Elizabeth, not to mention inland areas of Westmoreland and inland areas of Hanover. And we can also see that those upper level clouds were being streaked off to the northeast when that wind shear hit them because they are thunder clouds, and we had majority of the overcast skies and rainfall across portions of northern Jamaica, so especially Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, Gotten, and some of that. And we can also see that at 4:35 p.m. all of those thunderstorms, as we can see associated with the sparkling white dust that indicate lightning flashes, were coming in from the north, and they made their way southward into sections of maybe St. Elizabeth, portions of, let's say, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine, not to mention section of Kingston and St. Andrew as well. And we even had some confirmation of the rainfall across sections of the island. Tricia and Barkley stating just light showers in my ear of the Blue Mountain, and Cleveland Cameron stating just hearing some thunder in the distance from where I am in Barretown, St. James. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, yes, we indeed had those clouds building up across sections of the island. So we indeed had that across inland areas of central, western, and eastern parishes as well. And just as stated, we would have that upper level wind shear pushing off those cumulonimbus clouds up towards the northeast, and we indeed had that as indicated on the infrared satellite images that show all of those colors that indicate some thunderclouds way up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, not to mention those sparkling white dots that indicate all of that lightning flashes and lightning strikes. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images for this evening, we can still see some amount of greens and yellows that indicate moderate to slightly heavy rainfall across sections of some central parishes. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, we indeed see that we had that rainfall across sections of eastern, central, western Jamaica, with the bias across northern Jamaica just as predicted. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and as usual, those temperatures should be getting lower as the night progresses. Taking a look at 18Z on Wednesday, 1 p.m. on Wednesday, that is, we can see that for the most part Jamaica is in the clear. So we don't have any yellows, oranges, or reds that indicates way above normal temperatures across the island. And we don't see any sky blue up to darker blues that indicate cooler than average temperatures. For the most part, it is clear for 1 p.m. on Wednesday across Jamaica. So we shall be receiving our average temperatures. And what are the average temperatures for the month of April? Up to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of about 31 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that for the most part Jamaica is still embedded in a lot of moist air for the time being, considering that we have a cold front across the region at this time. The driest air seems to be right there across the waters of the eastern coast of the United States, as indicated by all of those reds as we can see on the key at the bottom, not to mention that air right there to the northwest of Africa. Taking a look at the Saharan dust map, we can see a lot of hazy weather across the main development region right there, associated with the dust from the Sahara Desert. 2 p.m. on Wednesday seems to have Jamaica in the clear. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS still have some weak waves or some low waves across the island or surrounding the island for 12 p.m. on Wednesday, as indicated by those blues. So 1.5 meter wave heights or less is what is expected, and that's due to the fact that we won't be having that much strong winds across the island. We'll be receiving anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 15 knots at most coming in from the east. And as usual, wherever that air piles up, wherever we have the weakest amount of winds across the island, as indicated by the blues, and we look at the key at the bottom, the blues indicate the least amount of winds, less than 5 knot winds. And wherever we usually have that, that's where we would have that buildup of clouds that lead to some amount of afternoon convection, that lead to some afternoon thunderstorms, cumulonimbus clouds forming. And then as usual, the upper level wind shear that would be coming in from the west-southwest for tomorrow, as indicated by both the Euro and the GFS for 1 p.m. on Wednesday. More than likely there's going to be a bias for that rainfall across sections of some northern parishes. Taking a look at the rain forecast, we can see that as early as 1 a.m. tonight, the Euro and the GFS are showing some amount of blue surrounding the island, the waters around the island. If this actually verifies, maybe we might have some of that rainfall lingering and meandering on and off shore. Taking a look some hours later, 11 a.m. to be exact, we can see that eastern, central, and western parishes have a lot of blues that indicate rainfall across those areas, and we see consensus on the Euro model. Considering that this is 11 a.m., it's somewhat hard to believe, considering that we usually have that buildup of convection in the afternoon hours rather than the late morning hours. But we shall see exactly what unfolds with that. Skipping ahead to about 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Now, this makes more sense. We see more of the rainfall across portions of these very same spots, eastern, central, and western Jamaica, on both the Euro and the GFS. And considering that it's 2 p.m., it is way more believable. Taking a look at even 4 p.m., we still see much of the same, but we can see that it is dying down a bit. And as we can see on the GFS, we see more of that blue across portions of northern Jamaica indicate more of the rainfall across those spots. Just like what we stated, we'll have that wind shear pushing off majority of that rainfall towards the northern parishes. And if we actually take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, both maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected across Jamaica from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. So we won't be having a lot of rainfall all the way from now up until 10 p.m. This is just showing all the rainfall spread out over that time being, and we're going to be experiencing majority of it across the afternoon hours. So we can see that we have consensus with rainfall across sections of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. The Euro has 0.39 of an inch of rainfall for the most part, while the GFS has up to even an inch of rainfall, especially across sections of central and western Jamaica. Either way, we have consensus in the fact that we're going to be having rainfall, even although the amount of rainfall, there's some amount of disagreement there. So ensure that you take your rain gear with you. There's definitely rain in the forecast for Wednesday. And we're indeed grateful, considering that we're in one of the driest months of the year. We usually only receive up to 140 millimeters of rainfall in the month of April, and we've been grateful thus far because we've been keeping up or maybe even surpassed that amount of rainfall across sections of the island thus far. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we still have that trough right there, trough of low pressure to the north of Puerto Rico. Maybe a little swirl taking place in there as well with those low levels. If we even look a bit closer, we can see all of those clouds associated with that cold front across portions of the Bahamas, Cuba, Turks and Caicos, and Jamaica, not to mention the waters to the west of Jamaica, so the Cayman Islands as well as portions of Honduras. You can also see a lot of clouds right there coming in from the main development region into portions of, let's say, St. Vincent, Barbados, St. Lucia, right there. Not to mention the South American continent as well. So as usual, French Guiana and Suriname. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean. Let's go all the way down there. You know that Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall. And if we load these images from about 1:45 p.m., we can see that yes, we indeed had some amount of rainfall right there across portions of northwestern and western Puerto Rico in the afternoon hours. And for the most part, majority of the rainfall was right there across portions of the US and British Virgin Islands. Not much in the way of rainfall across portions of the Leeward Islands. So Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Barth, Barbuda, Antigua were in the clear, not to mention Guadeloupe and Dominica. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that yes, we have some amount of passing showers from east to west, and we can see some of that across portions of Grenada, St. Vincent, portions of St. Lucia, to the waters of Barbados to the south, and we see some coming in from the northeast or east northeast. So we might have some more lingering or passing showers tonight into tomorrow across that very area. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that for the most part we don't have much activity taking place. Majority of the rain is right there across portions of Suriname and French Guiana. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that 1 p.m. on Wednesday by both the Euro and the GFS have the below average temperatures across majority of the southern and eastern Caribbean, not to mention sections of the Gulf of Mexico right there. While we have some above normal temperatures for majority of the United States, portion of Central America, all the way down from Mexico into Honduras right there. And we also have some above normal temperatures right there across portion of northeastern Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, and northern Hispaniola. Taking a look at the Saharan dust map, we can see that for the most part, majority of the Caribbean, we have that slight hint of Saharan dust, but majority of that is dissipating at this time. The heaviest dust or hazy weather associated with the Sahara Desert is across portions of the main development region and Africa at this time. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that majority of the Atlantic basin has 1.5 meter wave heights or less, and that's due to the fact that we won't be receiving any strong winds. We know that the strong winds are indicated by all of the yellows that indicate 25 to 30 knot winds. And we have greens that indicate 10 to 20 knot winds coming in from the east across the Caribbean for tomorrow. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have consensus that will have even up to an inch of rainfall across portions of southeastern Cuba, western Hispaniola, so portions of Haiti. So we might be having some amount of isolated flash flooding right there. We also see some more rainfall right there across portions of eastern Venezuela, western Venezuela, portion of Colombia, the border of Costa Rica and Panama right there as well. We can also see some amount of rainfall, but not too robust, across portions of maybe Barbados, areas to the southwest of there, portions of Guadeloupe, Dominica as well. Not to mention sections of Puerto Rico as well, northern sections of Puerto Rico. You can also see some consensus in some rainfall across coastal areas of Nicaragua as well. Taking a look at the western portion of the basin, we can see some lingering rainfall right there across portions of the southern areas of Texas, the eastern portions of Mexico as well. Scrolling down, we can see some rainfall right there across portions of southern Guatemala and Honduras. And we know that both the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And it's not all the rainfall all the way through. It will be spread out, especially during the afternoon hours, if they're not already getting that rainfall right now. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.